Vishnu Shom joining us with the latest on the ground. Vishnu, the last lot of Indian students we're expecting effectively evacuated now from Sumy city after the establishment of that evacuation corridor. We were just hearing from the Indian government talking about the evacuation efforts and how successful they've been.
So there have been approximately 650 odd Indian students who were stranded in Sumy for the last several days who've actually been evacuated now. This has been an extremely difficult process because Sumy is one of the areas which has been worst hit by the shelling. And it was as a result of this ceasefire to create a humanitarian corridor which took place between the Russian and the Ukrainian side yesterday. And it needs to be said it's the first really successful effort because previous rounds of talks have failed to create these. Shelling continued despite agreements. But today's is different. So the route was very specific. It was clearly laid out by the Ukrainians, announced by the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry. And fortunately, along with government officials, there is an effort now to get all of the Indians out. They are in fact out of Sumy, and they'll be, they'll be out of the border as well sooner than later and on a flight back home. So with this, essentially, all Indians who are stranded in Ukraine are going to be safe away from that country. Obviously, there would be a few who choose to stay on. People, for example, who are Indian nationals and have strong roots in that country. But I think this essentially closes the chapter on what has been a very tortuous process for all of those students in Sumy who've had to bear the brunt of very few resources, food, water going, extremely cold conditions because electricity was difficult. And of course, more than anything else, the very heavy artillery shelling. So this closes that chapter for them and hopefully they'll be back home soon.
Vishnu, thanks very much indeed for joining us with those details.